What's up guys, Johnny here, and in this video I'll just quickly go through some of my necromancer setups for PvP and just quickly give my thoughts on the current state of PvP in d2r, and maybe how it differs from the old classic Diablo, and just give my thoughts on the whole thing. So to start off with, I've got this durability setup going on my necromancer. I've just milled all my gear, obviously, from my elemental druids. I'm using the same Hoto, Enigma, gloves, boots, all that stuff. And in this set, on this character, I'm also focusing on a 320 circlet. So just the magic basic circlet. This one is obviously with 2 bear runes for the durability. And the other difference is that I don't have faster cast rate amulet on this character. So I'm using Maras all the way through on every setup, but the only setup that would actually require a 20 faster cast rate amulet in general, I would benefit a lot from it, would be this durability setup, but only versus one particular character in my opinion, and that's an elemental druid. So let me bow real quick just to get the max amount of damage, the extra 1 to all skill. So at the moment I have 5,800 damage. If I had 20 faster cast rate amulet, that would allow me to use white, and in that situation I would have 1,000 more damage, which is quite a big deal, and it would help you a lot in and that's with spirit as well. Like, look the spirit difference. So the whole thing is there's quite a bit more advantage here versus druid, and the druid matchup just in general, as with the old game as well, it's a very sensitive kind of matchup for me, at least. Like, if you mess up, you die quickly, and if you don't mess up, you want to make sure you take advantage of the opportunities that you get, especially versus good players. So you're not gonna get too many opportunities to make lots of damage, so might as well just, anytime that you get the opportunity, you make the most amount of damage, and that's why white would be the best here. So eventually I'm gonna get a 20 faster cast rate amulet, and I'll be able to play versus druids with white, but for the moment I have the Hoto, and it's still fine. It helps me versus obviously it provides me with oak versus barbarians, let's say, or versus smiters, or versus boar amazons, stuff like that. So the Hoto still helps you really quite a bit in most other matchups, but versus druid, obviously white would be better. Vitality setup. My vitality setup is the same 320 circlet with 2 jack runes, and then you would put either, obviously you're gonna put and this faster cast rate drink mostly goes for my durability setup because of the replenish. So once you have that, you've got 42 replenish life, which is quite good. It's quite a bit of a replenish life. But just for pure life, on my normal vitality setup, I would go for pure life and then white, because then obviously you have very, like, I don't even have any replenish anymore, because obviously I've removed everything that provides replenish. So 9 replenish would be almost useless, really. So just go with like anything that has just total life as a stat, and then pretty much just changing my circlet, the ring, and then this ring as well. So either nature piece if I'm playing versus Hammerdens, or other necromancers, to have the oak as well. Or you could use a Bulkatos if you want to play versus necromancers that don't have oak, if you want to be a GM, to have equal, to be equal with them. You can play with Vulkathos for a bit extra damage, but no oak. This is the Vitality setup for the versus lightning sorcerers, whatever, or trapper assassins. All you would do is you change this, and then instead of the nature piece, you would put Wisp Projector, and then you still have an oak, and you still have 80 light resist with 20 APS, and still using a white and the Maras. So, you know, for the most part, Maras is actually pretty good for a necromancer. You know, you don't really need the 20 faster cast rate. The 20 faster cast rate would be really good if you know, if you have 20 faster cast rate here, but then you also have blood fist gloves, so you can sacrifice. You know, you can get 30 faster hit recovery, but that would be on the old, you know, that would be when hit recovery mattered. So in the old game, the best thing about having a 20 faster cast rate amulet, and what would make you use one in every setup, would be that it allows you to use blood fist gloves that give you 30 hit recovery. So it will be 55 from here, and then 30, that will be 85, and you would only need one hit recovery small charm to get to 86 hit recovery, because 86 hit recovery in the old game is mandatory. But here you don't really need 86 hit recovery at all, so you wouldn't be using blood fist anyways. So for the most part, Maras is pretty good, and it gives you 30 or resist as well. So that's it really. And then if you want to play versus fire characters, so you would go with your Vitality setup as normal, maybe even put like nature piece, and you just go with HOTS. And then night fire resist, and you're still wearing the white, so 125 faster cast rate, and we're all good. That's it really, I think. Another setup that is pretty funky that I'm looking forward to trying when I get to non-ladder, because I don't have a 3 poison and bone skills 10 faster cast rate amulet on ladder. So one thing that I've been thinking of trying is having 2 bull casters. So like ditch this nature piece, ditch this faster cast rate ring, put a bull Kathos, and then ditch this for a 310 amulet, and then you're gonna reach the 125 faster cast rate, but then you can have 2 bull casters here, and that would be the absolute most damage. But how do you do this? So because you're not gonna be able to wear your normal spirits, but you would be wearing ethereal spirits, and because Necromancer versus Necromancer doesn't make any melee damage except from the golem hitting your spirit. It would take forever for the golem to, you know, break your spirit, and they're very cheap anyways, so it's not a big sacrifice anyways, and you could have like very like a lot of life, a lot of damage, sorry. So like with the bow, I think each skill gives you roughly, like, look at this, each skill gives you 185 life, 185 damage. So I'm gonna have one here and then one here. I'm gonna have extra. What does that make? So 200, 360, 370 more damage plus this. So 370 and 170, 470, 540. So 7,540 damage I'll have in non-ladder with this setup. The only thing is that I'll have to add 2 more strength to my character, because when you take Maras off, I have 75 strength and my Enigma requires 77 strength to wear. So I'll restart and I'll put 2 more strength, and then I'll be able to have that setup just for fun. I think that's it. That, let's just go back to the normal setup with this. I think that's it. Have I set the inventory? So yeah, inventory just all the way life skillers. Annie and Torch, normal, like I'm using the same 10 small charms from my elemental druid, I'm using the same call to arms from my elemental druid, and that's it really. This is the necromancer. Just quickly to go through a bit of the PvP side of d2r versus classic Diablo. So what was I gonna say? Yeah, one thing about faster on walk, something that I didn't say in the elemental druid video. So in my opinion, faster on walk is not that important anymore in the game. So whether you're gonna have 30 more faster on walk on your circlet to be doing, like, just to be walking south the way you would versus, let's say I'm playing versus a Hammerdin or something, and you'd obviously be spamming teeth and spirits and things like that, and you'd be walking south, and you'd be expecting them to drop somewhere close to you, so you can spear them. Like 30 more faster on walk is not gonna really help you that much in in trying to move about. So because there's no glitch involved, there's no desyncing, no nothing. Faster on walk period is not that not that important in my opinion. So like I'm never gonna buy 30 faster on walk circlet on my necromancer, unless they're like some dirt cheap, like 100, 200, 500 form gold in like a few years time or whatever, which won't happen because people will still think they're great. I personally don't think that they're good, so, or that much better. They're definitely not as good as in the old game, let's say. And faster on walk in general, because there's no desync, is not that great. So you don't need to focus on any of these circlets for people that want to buy circlets with 30 faster on walk. I don't think that's a big deal anymore. Purely because in the old game, the way strength bug and faster on walk were connected together, because there's no strength bug in this game, it just no longer works. So in the old game, what you would have is the server would be calculating how fast your character moves, i.e. how much faster on walk they have and how quickly they would move based off of what items you're wearing. So the server will be trying to detect what items you're wearing, but when you're strength bugged, let's say in the old game, you will definitely have your Enigma strength bugged, and then you'd have your boots strength bugged. So here you have 40 and then 45, that's 85 faster on walk, that in the old game would be strength bugged. So the server, when the server checks what items you're wearing, on the server side, you will have 0 faster on walk. So you'd be moving like this on the opponent's screen. So on the opponent's screen, you'd be naked and you'd be moving about this speed, yeah? But on your screen, you'd be moving about this speed, so way quicker. So any movement, any walking that you do in the old game, you'd be walking with 85 faster on walk. On the opponent's screen, you'd be walking with 0 faster on walk. So in this specific setup. So, and then add to that obviously weapon switch that immunes you to stun. And yeah, faster on walk is very important in the old game, but no longer in the new game, because in the new game there's no strength bug. The client always knows, how quickly you're moving and where you're moving and where you're positioned. So it's way more accurate when you look at someone else's screen. It's way more accurate representation where they are. So faster on walk, in my opinion, not that useful anymore. And this just ties in with how much easier it is to build a viable PvP character now. You wouldn't need any super crazy gear anymore to make a viable character, bottom line. So I think that's very positive. PvP wise, I mean, in general, this character, I mean, Boner, Necromancer, and Elemental Druids are considered some of the best characters in d2r at the moment, and in my opinion as well. So they're pretty good, and the matchups are a bit different. So if you're playing versus a melee assassin, like if you've seen my public duel video with an assassin, you would notice that I've played very like you know, it seems like I'm playing very defensive with lots of spirit trains and things like that. So I'm making sure that, like, you know, when I'm porting, I'm porting on spirits, so that, you know, um, so that I make the assassin not stomp me as much. But that's because lots of these assassins, especially on ladder now, with my experience, I've only have an experience with ladder players, so they all, like most of them, love using dragonflight, you know, and dragonflight is very powerful with the you know, melee assassins. So they don't need to be in your vicinity, so they could be here, they could be like, you know, where the waypoint is, and I could be somewhere around here. They could still like target me from off screen, so they could spam their dragonflight and they'll port on me, and they'll have obviously a 50-50 chance to hit me instead of my golem with the dragonflight, and it does ridiculous amounts of damage. So like when I first started dueling these assassins on ladder, they would destroy me with just dragonflight. So I'd be doing my own thing normally, like I'd be spamming some stuff, but because they don't have mind blast much, I'd be trying to, like, you know, I'd be trying to lock them and you know, try to spear them and stuff, and just, you know, be a bit more GM. But in the process, I'm not covering my ass. So like anytime I move about, like here, for example, they could just freely just, you know, dragonfly me and do some damage. Like literally 2-3 dragonflies and I'm almost dead. You know, with like all the bleed damage, all the venom, whatever. Like as soon as they hit me and they have like blade shield and shit and all that stuff, like they do so much damage just with this free skill, yeah. So unless you like cover yourself with like spirit train, so anytime I port, if he wants to port on me with dragonflight for free, he's gonna eat some spirit damage, you know. So that's how I've started playing versus them. That's why it looks like, you know, I'm being super defensive. But if I'm not being super defensive, like, I would be dying most of the duels to death to dragonflight, really. So it requires you to play a bit more defensive with spirit trains and things. But that's with like every single matchup. Like it requires, you know, some adjustments. But bottom line, the game is still fun. And you know, I thoroughly enjoyed playing still, and I'm looking forward to playing on the reset, playing on non-ladder, but I'm also looking forward to playing a bit of ladder and hopefully getting lucky and making some more forum gold, and you know, maybe getting myself that fucking 25 Sarcastria amulet to play versus druids eventually. So yeah, good luck to everybody on the upcoming ladder, and I'll see you guys on the next video.